Hello, this is 13 Action News. I'm Trisha Keene. We're glad you're streaming us right now because our 13 Investigates team has some new investigations we want to highlight. Each week, Chief Investigator Darcy Spears, investigative reporter Joe Bartels, and our 13 Investigates team are out there helping you by uncovering problems you need to know about. Here are this week's stories.
And so you would think the words "not for human consumption" would be pretty clear, but 13 Investigates has found once again fitness supplements with those words on the label, and right now they are still being sold right here in Las Vegas.
13 Chief Investigator Darcy Spears looks at the rules, regulations, and what could be a high price of performance supplements.
Everyone is always trying to seek that magic pill.
Can you find the perfect body in a bottle? Conventional wisdom says no. Still, there's always someone seeking a shortcut.
It's just trying to sell you the dream, but at such a detrimental, dangerous cost.
Registered dietitian, nutritionist, and certified personal trainer Jen Trevino was
just kind of speechless
when we showed her the label on Dark Energy pre-workout. Pre-workout products are marketed to people looking to lose weight and build muscle. The supplements promise to boost focus, energy, and athletic performance. This one contains the ingredients DMAA and DMHA, stimulants that the U.S. Food and Drug Administration says are illegal to sell and use as dietary supplements. DMHA, the less controversial of the two, is labeled an unsafe food additive, and products containing it are considered adulterated by the FDA. DMAA was previously approved as a nasal decongestion drug, but that's no longer the case. In fact, the FDA no longer recognizes DMAA for any kind of medical use.
Kind of like really close to these like amphetamine, methamphetamine drugs.
Which FDA considers particularly dangerous when combined with caffeine, like in Dark Energy. FDA says it can raise blood pressure and lead to cardiovascular problems ranging from shortness of breath and tightening in the chest to heart attack and death. Dark Energy is labeled as a research product that's not for human consumption.
Us as a consumer, we expect to be able to go into any place and expect, well, if it's on the shelf, it's got to be at least semi-safe, right? Because they wouldn't sell it if it wasn't.
They would, and they did.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Our photographer went undercover to nutrition stores across the valley asking about Dark Energy.
Is that crazy? Is it crazy?
I mean, you're talking about DMA, 100 milligrams of DMA and 400 milligrams of caffeine. People really don't know what's in it and they just take it. It's crazy.
Uh-huh.
But DMA, what it does, pretty much considered drugs, what they took out of a lot of, supplements at a point and banned it and whatnot. I think it's still banned, actually. I don't know why.
It is still banned, and he doesn't try to hide the risks.
Yeah, I mean, it says on there, not for human consumption.
But it's okay to obviously buy because it's on the shelf, so...
Yeah, I mean, they still sell it. People are crazy, so they're going to buy it regardless,
All right.
I'm just doing my job of telling you what it is.
Yeah.
And if you want to try it, suggest have a scoop. If you want to go full scoop, go ahead.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
for you.
okay.
But, me personally, I wouldn't take it.
Other stores we checked, like GNC, said you won't find it there.
I've never...
Oh, no,
yeah,
we don't sell
carry
that.
that.
That
No?
has DMHA in it, which is an illegal substance.
Oh, is that right there? The DMA?
Yeah.
Oh.
DMA and DMHA. Those are banned substances. We don't sell that.
But he acknowledges...
Yeah, it's super popular right now. It's all blowing up on the internet.
At Vegas Discount Nutrition on Flamingo near the 215...
Oh, Dark Energy. Yeah, so we don't have that one.
But he offers another product that also contains the illegal DMAA.
The only one that we have with DMAA, which is the strongest nootropic, is Irate.
The FDA has been warning about DMAA for a decade, including issuing warning letters and seizing products from facilities that don't voluntarily destroy them or agree to stop making them. As far back as 2013, FDA had received 86 reports of illnesses and death associated with supplements containing DMAA. The illnesses reported include heart problems and nervous system or psychiatric disorders.
People are going to get around in loopholes and try to sell products for as long as they can until they're pulled off shelves.
When we asked the health district about what we found, they went to see for themselves. At Survival of the Fittest on West Sahara, inspectors found 11 containers of dark energy on shelves. They issued a cease and desist order, a fine, and told the store to destroy the product. At the location on Charleston and Lamb, the person in charge told the inspector they used to sell the dark energy pre-workout a few months ago, but stopped due to 3 customer complaints ranging from making consumers feel too jittery to causing an upset stomach. We returned after the health district had been there and asked again about dark energy.
And we cannot have it anymore. It has a substance that it's not, it's banned.
Was it that?
The DMA.
But then she proceeds to sell us a different product with the same illegal ingredient.
I'm still gonna give you the receipt in case you feel like nauseous
Sure.
or something, you know. To
Okay.
kinda like,
So like this one won't be technically like illegal, right? This is okay to buy, sell, all that stuff.
still, but if they like, I don't know, I'm pretty sure they did like research on these pre-workouts.
They might find the same thing. Okay.
Exactly.
The owner of Survival of the Fittest did not want to go on camera, but he did speak to me over the phone. He said he did not know that dark energy says not for human consumption on the label and that his employees didn't tell him. He admits not doing his own research, instead relying on what distributors tell him in what's a volatile and ever-changing industry. He added that they'd never knowingly sell something illegal or dangerous, and they've cleared their store shelves of all the banned product, pledging to be more diligent from now on. Vegas Discount Nutrition also says it removed DMAA and DMHA containing products from their shelves after our visit with the hidden camera. Dietitian Jen Trevino says consumers should do their own research.
Seek out maybe doctor, dietitian, their expertise, not so much the salesperson at the store, because again, they're not experts, they're selling a product.
Bottom line, she says our bodies don't need the external stimulants in products like these, and the more you take, the more dependent you become.
We want to keep our bodies as clean as possible, allow them to work how they're supposed to work.
The FDA says consumers who believe they've been harmed by using a DMAA-containing product need to contact their doctor. You should also report it directly to the FDA and to the company whose name and contact information should be on the product label. We've got a link to the FDA's safety reporting portal on our website at ktnv.com. Darcy Spears, 13 Investigates.
Welcome back, and thanks for watching 13 Investigates. Don't forget that we're online 24/7 on our website, ktnv.com/13investigates.
There are many jobs that cannot work remotely, those including the hard-working men and women inside the casinos here. The law, we learned, allows employers to force the in-person return to work. It's a tough job, and they're on the front lines.
The first one we come back, it was very scary to come back and go inside the rooms, because you don't know what you can find out there. You don't know if the people is sick or not.
Delia Garcia is a guest room attendant for MGM Resorts and can't work remotely. She recently got her vaccine and is persuading others to do the same.
When I saw the people, it was being sick every day, and we have a very risk job in here. So I decided to come in over and do it. I have no side effects. So I'm so happy for that.
But for others who are making a living in traditional office settings, the pandemic put a pause on in-person work for many. But now vaccination rates are climbing. And as I found out, employers are within their rights to force an in-person return.
The short answer is yes. You need to go through a thought process before you do it. But employers can do that.
Attorney Richard Dreitzer with the law firm of Fenimore Craig says a thoughtful and safe return physically to the workplace may come with additional requirements, such as proving a vaccination by the employee.
Could there be requirements set forth by the employer to say you need to do X, Y, and Z before you can come back?
Yes, that's part of an employer's general obligation to keep a workplace safe. And given that vaccines are plentiful and they're reasonably safe, there aren't any overwhelming safety concerns with them.
Dreitzer says there are some exceptions, such as religious or medical reasons. He says recent and temporary changes to the Federal Family Medical Leave Act require some extra accommodations for workers transitioning from remote to in-person work.
When you're dealing with COVID-related inconvenience, for example, childcare issues or taking care of an elderly parent or a relative or any of that kind of stuff, there's a temporary addition or modification of the Family and Medical Leave Act, which allows you to have accommodations for that.
I asked about medical privacy, and it turns out that employees are not protected in that case, and employers can force employees to show proof of vaccination for their jobs or to return to work. Joe Bartels, 13 Action News. If you're like me, you probably don't answer phone numbers you don't recognize. More often, it's people trying to make a cash offer for real estate for a home sight unseen. Experts say it's an act of desperation in a tight housing market.
Hey, this is Casey. Looks like I got your voicemail here. I know this is kind of out of the blue. I was just reaching out to see if you'd be open to hearing a cash offer on your house.
In a white-hot housing market like the one in southern Nevada right now, desperate times call for desperate measures. That includes cold calling people even if their homes or property aren't even for sale.
We're all getting lots of phone calls, text messages, even snail mail saying that somebody's interested in buying our home, making offers sight unseen. And it's definitely an effect of the limited inventory that we're experiencing.
Zara Zaganez, owner and broker of Lux Estates and Lifestyles, is used to making million-dollar deals. He, too, has been burned by the hot housing market, recently turning to writing letters to people if they want to sell.
Definitely works. It's worked in the past. I mean, most recently, one of our luxury clients buying a multi-million-dollar home made an offer over the ask price, and we lost the property, even though we made a very clean cash offer. So out of desperation myself, I sent handwritten letters to all the other neighbors in that community asking if anybody's interested in possibly selling their home.
Czar says he's been hit by the unsolicited phone calls and text messages too. The issue has and remains too few homes for sale for many anxious buyers.
A lot of things that are into play with this. One is you got 16,500 real estate professionals in the Las Vegas Valley in a market that has a very short supply of inventory.
Aldo Martinez is the president of the Las Vegas Realtors Association. He says the practice is usually by real estate professionals, brokers, and investors looking to drum up any business.
If you've never worked on commissions, they're unemployed every single morning when they wake up. So every morning when they wake up, what they're actually doing is trying to go out to the 660,000 homeowners that are out there in the valley to find out who's going to hire them to buy or sell real estate.
I learned some real estate folks use public records, usually found on the county assessor website, to access names, addresses, and other information. Then use services to pay for phone numbers to solicit potential clients, a trend that should continue and even increase as home inventory remains tight. If you don't want to get these phone calls, you can register your number with the National Do Not Call Registry. You can also report text messages to the Federal Trade Commission. Joe Bartels, 13 Action News.
Welcome back, and thanks for watching 13 Investigates. Don't forget that we're online 24/7 on our website, ktmv.com/13 Investigates.
The Cinco de Mayo holiday always brings tons of business to Mexican restaurants, and Tres Amigos is no exception.
We got a lot of prep, and we get prepared for it.
Part of that prep involved rebounding from a 36 demerit C grade. The restaurant on Windmill and Eastern was downgraded during a routine inspection on April 19th.
It's a shame to be one of the worst C restaurants in Vegas because I've been working so hard to keep everything nice and clean.
Tres Amigos' biggest issue was food at unsafe temperatures.
So it was something with the fridge. We having a little issue with the temperature.
Your thermometers were out of whack, according to the health district.
3 of the restaurant's 4 thermometers were broken and providing inaccurate food temperature readings. And when it comes to food safety, every degree matters. Food in the temperature danger zone included chicken, carne asada, pork, and salsa. All of it went into the garbage. Now,
we got everything tracked. Everybody is checking like every 2 hours, to make sure we got the right temperature, especially right now with the heat.
inspectors also found containers of salsa, beans, and pork that were stored uncovered and subject to possible contamination. Raw beef was stored over a large container of onions and bell peppers. An employee's open drink sat on a prep table. Plus,
so what happened is, you normally have 7 days, right?
The health report says the cooked pork had been in the cooler for 8 days, and the carnitas were 9 days old.
I got to track and everything. I reached out to my chef. Everything is being keeping track, and nothing can be more than 3 days.
So you're being even more strict now than the health district's rules are telling you to be.
Other violations included water pooling behind the stove and under equipment in the kitchen, and ceviche, beans, and chicken that did not have date labels.
One of my employees didn't follow the rules the way it is, and that's pretty much what happened.
Reynoso says, like other restaurants, Tres Amigos has had a hard time rebuilding staff and getting people to come back to work. On top of that, food prices keep rising.
Yeah, we're struggling with that. You know, the meat is crazy, chicken is crazy, but the same way we try to have everything good for the public, you know, to make sure we got everything right.
In addition to those high costs for meat, the health district is no longer waiving downgrade and closure fees like they were during the height of the pandemic. Tres Amigos' C grade cost Reynoso $1,200.
I think that's a little too crazy, but I understand. You know, I understand that's the way it goes.
And he apologizes for the violations.
It is. It's not acceptable, but we're ready to go back to A.
Tres Amigos was indeed serious about their cleaning. When they got their A grade back, it came with 0 demerits. And we're pleased to announce that there were no imminent health hazard closures in this week's Dirty Dining. Darcy Spears, 13 Investigates.
Welcome back, and thanks for watching 13 Investigates. Don't forget that we're online 24/7 on our website, ktmv.com/13investigates.
What starts as a knock on the door can quickly turn into a costly mistake.
Warning about a door-to-door deal you really should try to avoid. 13 Action News anchor Trisha Keene speaks with a Las Vegas woman who was the recent target of a scam.
As the weather warms up, door-to-door salespeople are hitting the street. They're trained to get your attention, and some are doing it with your personal information.
He actually had it on his iPad. So where he got all this information, our names, birth dates, and personal information, I don't know.
It was last month when Mary of Las Vegas says 2 men came to her door.
They went into discussing that they were there to schedule an upgrade to our home security system.
Mary says both men were willing to show ID and were allegedly contracted to fix her outdated ADT equipment.
He said that our dealer put in 2G equipment, and we were supposed to be getting all new equipment for free. He also had a letter, handwritten letter to ADT canceling our service.
Her ADT account was allegedly being taken over by a new company. She was told she'd get a small discount and needed to provide her bank information. Mary asked to see the contract, but says all that they could offer up was an electronic copy on an iPad.
We had no information. This didn't feel right, and they were basically just trying to get us to do an electronic signature.
That's when Mary asked them to leave, but they tried to convince her she was making a mistake.
Well, if we leave now, then you're going to lose all of this free upgrades.
But Mary was sure she wasn't interested. Since then, she's reported the incident to ADT and reached out to 13 Action News to warn others. ADT tells us it's investigating Mary's claim, along with 80 other similar or deceptive sales complaints received from Nevada customers over the past couple of years. If you're approached by similar salespeople, the Better Business Bureau says don't be a victim.
Don't fall for the high-pressure tactics, because that's exactly what they are.
Rhonda Metler with the BBB Las Vegas says a legitimate salesperson should be willing to leave you with product and service information. Be sure to also ask about all charges up front.
You definitely don't want to find out about additional costs on the back end.
Metler says do your homework before signing any contract. You should find answers to commonly asked questions on the company's website. If you already have a home security system, confirm if you're really free to sign up with a different company.
Find out if, what kind of cancellation policy there is.
In the end, if you make a purchase and then change your mind, remember you have rights.
In instances like this, there is a 3-day cooling off period where you have that time frame to cancel.
The Federal Trade Commission allows customers a chance to cancel purchases over $25 when dealing with door-to-door salespeople. As for Mary, she hopes others learn from her story and question anyone who comes knocking.
If somebody's coming door to door, recognizes they can get your information from a lot of different sources, verify their story.
For 13 Action News, I'm Trisha Keene.
It's unknown how widespread the problems is, but it's put people into a real bind to try and use the service to verify their identities. One woman who used to work to try and fill timeshares in Las Vegas is pleading for help.
March 17th, Tuesday, I remember that day very well, 2020, was my last day of work.
Nearly 14 months later, Lisa Rhodes is still battling to get Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, or PUA for short. Rhodes says she was a body grabber. That's what's known inside the timeshare industry as someone who helps book rooms for people, but that ended suddenly.
55 years old, unemployed, have tried to apply for unemployment. In the process, you can't reach anybody over the phone. Now, finally, where I'm at is this, you have to ID, it's called ID Me.
Rhodes says she's been stuck in an endless cycle, more recently having to prove she is who she says she is through ID Me. That's the company that's being paid more than $1 million by the state of Nevada to help confirm identities of people who are filing for unemployment benefits.
Well, with ID Me, I get past that process. They ask me to take a front, back of my ID and a selfie. I've done everything that they've asked me to do, and when I go back in, I haven't been able to file my weekly claim for over a month now. And I'm just upset and outraged about this.
ID Me tells me they have seen cases of fraud. Check out these masks. A spokesperson says they are just one example of how fraudsters are trying to get around security selfie checks to impersonate people.
I also got an email from them, misspelled words. I have a voicemail. The guy is very unprofessional. All types of red flags.
The company now acknowledges they are aware of bad actors that are using social media, using fake accounts to trick people into handing over their private information.
And I know it's not me alone. I'm sure hundreds and thousands of people are going through the same thing.
The company says they only use verified accounts on Facebook and Twitter, which can be spotted by the check marks indicated. The company is handling at least 26 states, including Nevada, to help weed out unemployment fraud. Lisa says she's come this far and she's not giving up now, but she really fears that her personal information may be in the hands of a fraudster now. Joe Bartels, 13 Action News.
Thank you for watching. Join us again next week on your favorite streaming device for all news stories by our 13 investigative team. I'm Trisha Keene with 13 Action News.